Some ideas sound true simply because we've heard them our whole lives. They get repeated in school, online, and even by experts, but repetition doesn't make something correct. Number 7. Goldfish have tiny memories. Most people grew up hearing that goldfish can only remember things for 3 seconds. It's one of those facts that sounds so specific, so confident, that we never question it. But scientists have tested this many times, and the results tell a completely different story. Goldfish can remember feeding times for months. They can learn routes inside tanks. They can even recognize patterns and respond to sounds. In controlled experiments, some goldfish were trained to push levers and navigate simple mazes, and they remembered how to do it long after training ended. So where did the myth come from? Mostly from assumption. We looked at a quiet animal swimming in circles and decided it must be forgetful. We judged intelligence based on appearance, and this happens to people all the time. Someone who speaks less in meetings gets labeled as slow. A student who struggles early gets underestimated. But memory and intelligence often develop quietly, out of sight. This myth teaches us something important. Just because something looks simple doesn't mean it is. And that idea leads directly to another belief many people carry, especially about success. Number 6. Hard work always wins. You've probably heard this sentence your entire life. If you work hard enough, you will succeed. It's motivating, it feels fair, and it gives us a sense of control over our future. But the truth is more complicated than that simple promise. Hard work absolutely matters. It builds skill, discipline, and resilience. But it doesn't guarantee success on its own. Timing matters, opportunity matters, health matters. Even luck plays a role, whether we like to admit it or not. Two people can work equally hard and get very different results. One might meet the right mentor. Another might face unexpected setbacks. One might be born into resources. Another might start with none. When we ignore these factors, we create unrealistic expectations. People start blaming themselves for outcomes they couldn't control. They think, I failed because I didn't try hard enough. But sometimes the smarter move isn't working harder. It's changing direction, learning new skills, or recognizing when the environment itself needs to change. Understanding this doesn't make you weaker, it makes you strategic. And once you start thinking strategically, another belief begins to fall apart. The idea that confidence must come before action. Number 5. Confidence comes first. Many people believe confidence is something you need before you start, before speaking in public, before launching a project, before asking for an opportunity. They wait until they feel ready, strong, and sure of themselves. But confidence almost never works that way. In reality, confidence is usually the result of action, not the cause of it. It grows after you try, fail, adjust, and try again. It builds through experience, not imagination. Think about the first time you drove a car. Your hands were tense. Your attention was everywhere. Every movement felt risky. But after weeks of practice, driving became automatic. Not because fear disappeared, but because familiarity replaced uncertainty. This pattern shows up everywhere. Athletes, performers, and entrepreneurs rarely start confident. They start nervous. They start unsure. They start imperfect. Waiting for confidence before acting can keep people stuck for years. They delay decisions, avoid risks, and miss opportunities, all because they think they need a feeling that only comes after movement. The truth is simple but powerful. Confidence follows courage. And once you realize that, you begin to question another belief that quietly shapes our daily choices, especially the way we think about happiness and achievement. Number 4. Follow your passion. This advice sounds beautiful, almost poetic. Find what you love and everything will fall into place. But for many people, passion doesn't appear first. It grows later. Most successful careers didn't begin with passion. They began with curiosity, necessity, or simple opportunity. A person takes a job to pay bills, learns new skills, becomes competent, and only then starts to enjoy the work. Over time, competence turns into confidence, and confidence slowly turns into passion. Psychologists call this the progress principle. We tend to love what we get good at. not the other way around. The danger of the follow your passion myth is that it creates pressure to discover a perfect calling early in life. If you don't feel passionate yet, you assume something is wrong. You think you're lost. But passion is often built through repetition, through small improvements, through seeing progress. Instead of chasing passion, many people succeed by chasing mastery. They show up, practice, and get better, day after day. And once they reach a certain level of skill, something surprising happens. Work starts to feel meaningful, which brings us to another belief that sounds healthy, but can quietly hold people back. Number 3, trust your instincts. We're told to listen to our gut, to trust our instincts, to follow that inner voice. And sometimes that advice is useful. Instincts can protect us from danger. They help us react quickly in emergencies. They're shaped by experience. But instincts are not always wise. They're often biased. Your brain uses shortcuts to make fast decisions. These shortcuts are helpful, but they can also lead to mistakes. You might distrust someone because they look unfamiliar. You might avoid opportunities because they feel uncomfortable. You might assume the worst simply because your brain wants certainty. Fear can feel like intuition. Comfort can feel like truth. That's why experienced professionals double-check their instincts with evidence. Pilots use checklists. Doctors run tests. Investors analyze data. They don't ignore their gut, but they don't blindly trust it either. The smartest decisions usually come from a balance of instinct and information. And once you understand that your brain can mislead you, you start questioning another belief that many people repeat every day, especially when they're trying to stay positive. Number 2, think positive. Everything works. Positive thinking is powerful. It can boost motivation, reduce stress, and help people stay focused during tough times. But the idea that positivity alone guarantees success is simply not true. You can believe in yourself completely and still fail if your plan is weak. You can stay optimistic and still struggle if you ignore problems. Real progress usually comes from a combination of optimism and realism. Successful people don't just hope things will work. They prepare for obstacles. They look at risks honestly. They adjust their strategy when something goes wrong. Blind positivity can become dangerous when it stops people from facing reality. Someone might ignore financial problems, health symptoms, or warning signs in relationships, simply because they want to stay positive. But true confidence isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about believing you can handle challenges when they appear. That mindset is stronger than optimism alone, and it leads us to the most powerful myth of all, one that shapes how people judge themselves every single day. Number 1, you have one true purpose. Many people grow up believing there is one single purpose meant just for them. One perfect career, one calling, one path they are supposed to discover. And if they don't find it early, they start to feel behind. But research on careers and life satisfaction shows something very different. Most people don't have one fixed purpose. They build purpose over time, through experiences, relationships, and challenges. Purpose is not a destination you discover. It's something you create. Think about how life actually works. Interests change, skills evolve, opportunities appear unexpectedly. The job you love at 25 might not be the one that fulfills you at 40. And that's not failure, that's growth. The myth of a single purpose can trap people. They stay in jobs that feel wrong because they believe they already chose their path. Or they panic because they haven't found the one thing yet. But the truth is freeing. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to start again. You are allowed to build meaning step by step. Purpose isn't something you search for once. It's something you shape again and again throughout your life.